once again, watchers of good TV. My name is Nick Pell, and this is once again coming from my white room. Now, today I am going to be talking about the newest Netflix original series entitled Orange is the New Black. This Netflix show came out, I believe, a few weeks ago, and then like July 14th or something, and so about a week ago, I guess. And I just finished it last night, and so I'm reviewing it for you now. Now, the show stars Taylor Schilling as Piper Chapman. She is the show's main character, and she essentially is a person who did something bad 10 years ago when she just got out of college. She was involved with drug smuggling and all that stuff. She kind of puts it behind her. She lives her own life. Things are going great for her, and then she gets ratted out by someone and she has to go to prison for 15 months. So it's a really interesting thing to see her backstory and everything like that. Now, there are a bunch of main characters in this show. I'm going to be talking about a few of them. I obviously can't cover all of them, or else this is going to be a 20-minute review. So our next main character is Alex Voss, as played by Laura Prepon. She is from that 70s show. I'm sure everyone's seen that at some point or another. And she is essentially the person that Piper was dealing with after her 20s. She was the person that Piper was hanging around with and had a relationship with, and all other stuff. She's in the same prison as Piper, and their interactions are actually quite interesting. And the other main character that I want to talk about really quick is Red, as played by Kate Mulgrew. And she is this Russian cook person who is the head chef in the kitchen at the prison. She is a very powerful person in the prison, despite herself being a prisoner. She deals with all the food. She demands immense respect from a bunch of different people. And just seeing that is really cool. She knows how to get her way, and seeing her flashbacks is very interesting because we don't exactly see that a lot of the time. So that idea kind of developed in the prison. And then probably the last main character I want to talk about is Larry Bloom, played by Jason Biggs from the American Pie series. And he is essentially the fiance of Piper. He is on the outside, obviously, and he's a writer. He is trying to establish himself as a writer of some sort, and essentially he's very supportive of Piper in prison, and does his best to try to help her out and visit her as he can and give support and all that type of stuff. So those are kind of the four main characters that I really want to deal with in this. They are essentially the four that kind of round out the series. Everyone else is important to the series, and there's a bunch that are in every episode, but those are the four that I think kind of make the show what it is for the most part. Obviously, I'll be talking about some other characters in the plot section of this review, and other things like that. So with that in mind, keep in mind I will talk about the ending to Orange is the New Black, as in the last episode of it, after the credits of this video roll, so stay tuned to that if you have finished Orange is the New Black and you want to hear my thoughts on the ending to it. So getting right into the main plot of the show, it starts out with Piper Chapman. She's essentially surrendering herself to the prison since her name has been kind of revealed, and she's been summoned to come to prison to serve her term. And so she does that, and throughout the show, in kind of a lost type of situation, we have flashbacks of all the prisoners. Well, not all the prisoners, but we have flashbacks of certain prisoners who are kind of the main focus of the show. The first episode is Piper. The second episode, I think, was Red. And then it just goes to various other characters, so we get to see kind of what they're like outside the prison and what their backgrounds are, and essentially what crimes they committed to get themselves thrown in here. And I thought that was really interesting, and kind of gave all the characters kind of more perspective. You were able to relate with these people more, and you saw that despite them being in a prison and being all kind of centered around as being criminals, not everyone is really that bad. Some people just did stupid stuff that got them in trouble. But really, they're good people, as you can see as you watch the show. And that's also a focus that kind of comes up towards the end of the season. We have someone who kind of says that all the people in there are just criminals, while Piper, who is talking with this person, she says, no, they aren't just criminals. Well, she doesn't say this, but she essentially, she says it, but she doesn't say it. She basically has learned that these people are, yes, they are criminals, but they aren't just criminals. They are people too. They are people with feelings and emotions and lives. They are human beings, and the way that certain people perceive the criminals is very interesting to see when you have the two perspectives of it. Yeah, it's really just a TV show about perspective. Pepper goes into the prison and she sees all the craziness of the prison kind of escalate to a higher level than it actually is, and she kind of expresses this because she has come from such a kind of stable environment. She's very she hasn't really had to deal with this type of stuff, and when she does, she starts to know these people, and just perspective begins to change while Larry's perspective kind of stays the same. The show is created by Genji Cohen, creator of Weeds, which is a show that I just watched and will put out the review for in September. Yeah, ultimately really good show. It's got nudity in it. It's Genji Cohen. He's not afraid to show that stuff. Yeah, just ultimately a really good show. I really enjoyed it. It's based on a book apparently, which I didn't even realize, which is, I'm assuming, an autobiography, memoir type of thing of Piper's time in prison. So she was an actual person. She goes by a different name in the TV show than she does in the book, I think. Definitely check it out. It's a Netflix original, so it's only going to be on Netflix. I really think that this show will get a sequel or a second season and be one of the hits along with House of Cards. So that's my review of Orange is the New Black. Like I said before, highly recommend it. Stay tuned after the credits to see my thoughts on the very end of Orange is the New Black. And so yeah, like, favorite, comment, and subscribe if you so choose. I'd appreciate it immensely. And as always, my good people, my name is Pell, and once again, keep on watching. And if you are still watching, you are here to see my thoughts on the ending to Orange is the New Black. So spoilers, if you have not finished the show, don't watch this. So I'll be talking about the very last episode of the season, and basically the last part of the episode. Essentially, the crazy religious inmate who is essentially trying to convert Piper to Christianity, all that type of stuff. Piper obviously doesn't believe in the stuff. She tells her outright, and we saw in her flashback that the reason that she's in here because she tried to kill someone, or she killed somebody because they disrespected her. She sees kind of the same type of thing from Piper, and thus kind of puts out a death sentence on her. So we get to the final episode. Towards the very end, we have, well, first part in the episode, we have the splitting up of Piper and Larry. Basically, Larry, he can't really deal with it anymore. He needs a break from Piper. She's been seeing Alex. She's in love with Alex again. This was kind of seen as coming. I'm sure he'll have a huge influence in the second season of some sort. But we see that relationship end. Piper is devastated. She goes to the Christmas pageant kind of just out of it, having a horrible day. We see kind of the quiet nun lady. She just has an amazing voice, and that part is really cool. I really like the singing in the Christmas pageant. And then Piper bolts out. She leaves. And then, I can't remember what her name is, but the crazy religious inmate, she follows Piper outside into kind of an alley type of situation, and she has a cross with like a sharp point at the end of it. She's going to kill her like that. She starts swinging it. Officer Healy comes out, and Piper's calling for help. He looks at her, and basically everything that Piper has done to kind of insult him and kind of kill off any communication with him kind of comes to a head here. When she was in the shoe, she basically killed any hope or any fantasy that he had about spending time with her in a different situation, and he walks away, pretends he doesn't see it, and he basically leaves Piper to deal with it herself, and that she does. She takes out the screwdriver, but it gets knocked out of her hand, and this was my one issue with the finale, is that when they showed Piper kind of getting, getting the her attacker on the ground, it was just two kind of shots that we don't really see Piper doing it, which kind of annoyed me. But once she's on the ground and she's just beating the crap out of Slade, she just loses control completely. She just takes all of her rage and emotion that she's had over these last few months and just unleashes them on this girl who's just pushed her too far now. And that's how it ends. We just see her kind of beating the crap out of her, kind of like Kratos in the end of God of War 3 beating up Zeus. And that's where it ends. I'm really, really hoping that they start exactly from that point in season 2, and just kind of show the reaction of the prisoners, and she's obviously gonna get some sort of punishment. I don't know what, but it should be something quite interesting. But overall, I really liked the finale. I thought they did a really good job with it. They had a lot of stuff in that finale and in the episode before that as well. I found it really interesting overall, the fact that we got to see how all these characters changed or did not change throughout the course of the show. We have Piper, who comes from this kind of luxurious life. She's living her life. She's kind of on top of the world at some point, and then it all comes crashing down. And she basically she changes as a person through her time in the prison dealing with these inmates. And same with Red. When we see her in her flashback, she's kind of this timid wife who doesn't really know how to deal with the criminal world. By the end of the season, we see her in still her flashbacks, her kind of becoming associated with it and getting more involved with it. And that's where I'm assuming she kind of gets caught and goes to prison for it. And then she kind of gets... And then when she's in prison, when Piper enters, we see her as kind of this hard-headed cook who doesn't take crap, will not let her food be insulted, and by the end of the season, she is broken because she has lost her kitchen because of porn stash, and she is being starved out of her kitchen because she tried to sabotage it, and she's basically on a downward slope right now. And while we have some characters who aren't really essential characters to the show, they kind of stay the same. They've basically gotten used to this lifestyle. They're not going to really change immensely from one day to the next or 1 month to the next. And this is kind of who they are. So yeah, that was probably something that I really enjoyed seeing in the show, is huge character development from some characters and showing how much prison can affect a person and change a person. So that is my thoughts on the ending to Orange is the New Black. Let me know what you thought of Orange is the New Black down below. If you so choose, I would appreciate it immensely. Like, favorite, comment, and subscribe to this video as well if you want. And as always, my good people, my name is Pell, and once again, keep on watching.